honestly, the story begins with you and your donations. I am an eBay reseller and I've been selling on the platform since 2005, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time, sometimes no time. But currently I'm trying to build a business to help supplement my husband and myself's retirement in the upcoming 3 years. Plus, we really like sourcing. Or maybe I should reword that. I really like sourcing. But honestly, the story begins with you and your donations. Now, it doesn't matter if you're donating it to Goodwill, if you're donating it to the local church rummage sale, if you're donating it to your kid's school because they're trying to do a fundraiser to get to soccer camp. It doesn't really matter where you're donating your items, but I want you to understand how much it affects other people when resellers go to buy items from these locations. So there's a bunch of negative talk about Goodwill. And honestly, Goodwill does a lot of goodwill. They actually are called Goodwill Industries or Goodwill International Industries or Goodwill Industries International. I always get those words mixed up. They are actually comprised of 150 organizations. You would think that Goodwill stores are all the same across the country. They are run in geographical locations. So for me, I live in Mesa, Arizona, and the Goodwill stores that I shop at are Goodwill of Central and Northern Arizona. And each of the Goodwill organizations kind of have different coupon strategies and sales strategies, so you never know what you're going to find. And a lot of them have different pricing strategies. Now, Goodwill does sell online, so they are competition for eBay resellers. Some of the stuff is getting picked over and being sold online for a higher profit. And good for Goodwill, right? Because Goodwill doesn't just offer jobs to employees who work in their stores. So within those 150 organizations in total, there are over 3,300 stores. And in each of those stores employs approximately 25 people. So that's not a ton of people, but it's 82,500 job positions that didn't exist without Goodwill. And Goodwill wouldn't exist without your donation. So it's pretty amazing stuff. It's a great story. And not only do they employ people in their stores, but they also employ people in these massive distribution centers, in their Goodwill bin stores, which are quite popular with eBay resellers. If you're not familiar, Goodwill takes the items, once they age out, they leave items in their store 4 to 6 weeks. And once that item ages out, then it's sent to a central location, a Goodwill bin location. And then they put the items and they sort them and they put the items out there and they sell it by the poundage. And I believe it's under $2 at the moment, but every Goodwill bin charges a different price because it's part of a different Goodwill organization. But in addition, Goodwill provides job training, job placement, and other community services. So they're not just offering jobs in their stores and distribution centers, but they're also helping people get employment outside of their organization. It is a great organization. Now, Goodwill is only one of many who take donations and who take that money that they make from those donations and put it out for good. Another example, and I'm not going to get into it, is the Blind Center of Nevada. If you ever get a chance to research that organization, they implement donations and they sell on eBay and they recycle. Awesome, awesome, awesome organization. Your donations are super important. It's super important that you don't think that your items are not worthy of somebody else's use and you just throw them away. I have been to so many estate sales where there is a big dumpster outside. At the end of that sale, I know anything that isn't purchased is going to get thrown in that dumpster. That's perfectly good stuff. Resellers do a lot of help in getting those items back out into the market, and they get it out there to people who could use them. So this is not where the story ends. We got to talk about the online reseller and how much good that they do with your donation. So not only did that donation help that organization, that item that is purchased by the reseller, who in turn sells it on eBay for a profit, it helps them. And it's a lot of simple people just like me who are trying to make some extra money, doing a side hustle, really don't want to sell Amway, not bad-mouthing Amway or any of those other pyramid schemes. And I'm not saying reselling online is the best side hustle out there, but it's a good side hustle. Let's talk about the life cycle of an item that is purchased by a reseller and what happens to that item after that reseller gets their hands on it. So I'm going to show you an example. There's a lot of talk that Goodwill overprices their items. And so I decided I don't source a lot from Goodwill. I source a lot from yard sales and auctions and other types, but I have sourced from Goodwills. The store that I went to is part of Central and Northern Arizona Goodwill organization. And they, if you sign up for their newsletter, they'll give you a 20% off discount if you purchase over $20. Well, that's pretty easy peasy for a reseller. So I went in there, and I'll shoot the video up there. I will put the link in the description so you can watch it. But I purchased this waterbed. So there was this brand new waterbed in the package. I actually didn't know what it was at first. I did some research and I realized what it was. And it was this waterbed, but it was missing the plug. They had them marked $12.49, and with my discount, it came down to $10. Ran some comps. And for those of you who don't sell on eBay, basically what resellers do is they look at the eBay solds to see, is the item worth selling? How many are listed? How many have sold in the last 90 days? And that gives them an idea of how long they're going to have to hold on to it. Is it worth reselling? Or are they going to make a profit? So I looked at the item. It was missing the plug. And I was like, oh, man. But I was able to easily purchase a plug for $9.99. So I've got $20 into this waterbed mattress, and I ran my comps. It looks like they sold for about $100 plus shipping. And I'm like, score, let's do this. So I bought the waterbed mattress. So long story short, my item sold for $80 plus $20 shipping. So after all my eBay fees and shipping, I netted out to $59.44. Now that's gross. So I'm going to interrupt this video super quick and tell you that I made kind of a blooper on the video when I said I made $59.44. Actually, I need to take into consideration that I did pay Goodwill $10 for the item, and that I also paid $10 to the guy to buy the plug for the waterbed. So I personally made $39.44 on the item that I purchased. Still not bad, but I wanted to make that clarification. So let's get back to the video. It's not about how much money I made. I really want you to understand how many people are affected by resellers. So not only did I make $59.44, the carrier charged me, I think, a little over $17 to ship this item. So that produced $17 worth of revenue to the carrier. So on top of that, eBay made $23.10. So eBay made money. And of course, that makes shareholders happy when they make money. And the guy that I bought the plug from, he made $10. So when you add all of that up together, it's $120. That's crazy. When you talk about the amount of money that Goodwill sold the item for, they got $10. How much money I made, the $59.44. The carrier made $17. eBay made $23. Look at how many people are affected by that donation because a reseller took that item and put it out there in the online market and sold it. It affects eBay employees. It affects shareholders. It affects carriers. It affects so many people. And I think it's kind of amazing that a $10 item from Goodwill can turn into $100. I don't understand. How is that negative? How does that hurt anybody that a reseller goes out and sources these items? Now, how many people would have gone into that store and were looking for a waterbed mattress? Probably not very many people. And I think I sold this item quite quickly, actually, but it sold because it was put out there for 1 million buyers to view. I'm really kind of over all this negativity. Can we kind of put that all behind us and see what resellers actually do for the economy? What resellers accomplish? We dig through houses full of stuff that would normally end up in the landfill. We go through and spend hours in Goodwill looking for items that we can resell. Because to be honest, those items, when they get in the hands of the reseller, it actually helps the economy way more than if it goes to an end user. But Good for you if you go and you buy your clothes at Goodwill. That in itself is amazing. There's a lot of great items at Goodwill. There are a lot of great items at church rummage sales and school fundraisers and all of those things. We can do a lot by purchasing items from Goodwill. We can do a lot by purchasing items from eBay resellers. We're really not that bad. We've gotten a bad rap because we're a lot of scummy people who used to sell on eBay. But trust me, eBay kicks those people off. Very strict to sell on eBay. They are committed to their sellers at high standards and giving their buyers a good buying experience. If you've had a bad buying experience, I apologize for that, reseller. That is not the experience that you would have from me and from millions of other resellers on eBay. Most of us are great people with big hearts, and we're just trying to make a little extra cash. So hopefully I have given you a new perspective on eBay resellers, online resellers, not just eBay, but people who sell on Poshmark and Etsy and Mecari. I want to give you a little bit more of a warm and fuzzy feeling, and that we actually do a lot of good. And the story even goes deeper than that, but I just wanted to kind of hit home with the numbers. When a reseller goes into Goodwill and purchases an item, how much more we take that item and what happens with that item. Hopefully I've changed your mind on eBay resellers and Goodwill, and you're leaving this with some good feelings about it all and a new perspective. But if you'd like to learn more about why I sell on eBay, then watch this video next.